Cancer treatment. I mean, I've put a few things on my biohacking playlist on my YouTube channel, so this one's a bit weird. I was just watching from Pete Judah, Academia is Broken, Harvard Fake Cancer Research Scandal Explained, and I'm like, that's an interesting way to do that. It's like, well, what the fuck is the toxic chemical that they're using? Is it a protein that attacks the outside of the cell? Because it binds to it and then breaks apart the outside of the cell membrane and then goes in and then sort of like uses the waste material as a way to like eat inside of the membrane, thus making it have a chemical signature that makes it break apart, the stem cells apparently that they have. So that way, like, you know, it doesn't hurt other cells. But I'm like, well, then why not just go all the way and then have like a searching signal like our immune system does? Like a wiggly jiggly thing, and then, hey, that's some chemical, that's some enzyme, that's some protein. What's that? Might eat that. Why don't you just train our immune system to basically just do that then? Like, hey, it produces waste, right? Oh, this is a dead stem cell. No, it's not. It's a dead immune cell. No, I mean, well, okay, yeah, sure. Wait a second. That's a bunch of material that I could use. It eats it, and then it goes and creates the toxic material. It goes over. As a result, it's a chemical signature change for the given immune cell that happens to allow for it to more easily, more readily pick up what stem. No, not fuck. What stem cells? Watch the video. Fucking retard. The cancer cell, you little fucking stupid cunt. Let's go do that. It's pretty simple. I mean, it has a protein cell membrane change, the lipids change, and of course that changes ionic, ultimately field, which means it can now use that based upon it breaking down another immune cell, which they die after a amount of time, which then means you can eat it and then turn it into a given type of material. That's a metabolic function, which metabolic can be changed. I mean, if you're able to fucking create a goddamn cell that can go after these things, then why don't you just fucking do that? It's just a genetic code change. It's an autophage and so on change. What the fuck's the difference? I mean, it's an mRNA kind of thing, is what they would go with, but it's not really, because that's Moderna probably trying to talk to you Harvard motherfuckers. No, I would tell you it's a basic, simple thing, because it's like, well, this is a biohacking CRISPR-9 again. That's all you have to do. But that's the reverse immune cell stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't talk about it, but the reverse immune cell stuff, our immune system, whatever, the reverse vaccine, saying, oh, all of a sudden we don't have autoimmune. All of a sudden we don't have this type of issue. And it's basically a vaccine, but it reverses certain issues that our immune system does, like attack things and so on. It's like, I love that one. It's effectively something you can use for this. Why wouldn't we do it? Meanwhile, I'm like, also, hey, here's something. If you're able to make fucking cells that can do that, which, by the way, you absolutely can, there's nothing that says you can't do that. Why won't you just put them into your own cells? Why don't you just design your immune system? No, not immune system. Don't interrupt. Which, by the way, that's probably you right now thinking and writing, and you're listening to this. Your immune system. I'm trying to follow him along. I already know what he's going to say. No, if you know what the body's effectively cell is doing, then its waste products come out to being what they are, right? the nucleus is nearby, your mRNA, and then so on, and effectively turns it into, well, you have a mitochondria, you have a nucleus, you have this. I could just build another fucking cell inside of my cell, which just needs the right proteins, which just need the right enzymes, which just needs the right compounds, and effectively they combine together and create a new type of waste eating, repairing cell that's inside of the cell, which isn't really technically a cell, but then the mitochondria was apparently a cell outside of our cells before it became a part of our cells. Which then turns it into just get another fucking version of it that does it so that it just repairs us. And it automatically shuts down or goes back into becoming a stem cell, so that way you don't have any given type of cancer, a type of mutation that would lead to an overrun of certain things, which would be genetic triggers, expressions, right? Which then turns it into, like, if we already have these other senescent cells, and it's like, what? Well, why the fuck couldn't we do it? I mean, they only triggered that way because they might have turned into a cancer cell. So then why the fuck couldn't we do it this way? Makes no fucking sense. Seems like an overly complicated back-asswards kind of way to fucking fix cancer. If you're able to go that far with it, then why don't you just make our cells do better things for themselves? Anyways, that's my cancer treatment idea. Now, granted, it's like, you need to know all the proteins and all of the enzymatic processes. And I'm like, the kinesis thing, that's probably one of them that will work for that, truthfully. And then there's the excretory waste, which is really, they go, no, it's only these vitamins or minerals. I'm like, that's what the fuck, no! You have chemical and DNA rate expression excretory waste, which I like to call it, because that's what they're doing. But that's effectively chemical signaturing, to the surrounding cellular network, which effectively allows for it to know what's up and, hey, repair me, dick. Hey, other things around. Do the repair. Stuff not good. Anything with the nutrients? You got something? This is literally what it is. But it's like, all right, kinesis would work, but it's like, no, because you don't want it to undergo the type of mitosis type, and then we have a repair protein, which there's like 3 apparently, which is kind of stupid. So it's like, there's a repair protein that like repairs the DNA and checks it, right? But it's like, yeah, okay, sure, but that's not really factually correct, because there's like 2 helpers to that. Then we don't even get into the fact that we have what is it, the fucking stupid protein release. I tweeted about it, and it's in my other, like, fucking first 3, because I just did some basic research about this other, like, bare minimum start of, like, an idea of biohacking in longevity. Because it's like, well, during mitosis, I just have the immune system trained to attack that. And if it does it the right way, then essentially, sure, it'll eat it, but like it can also stop if it's got the right chemical signature, protein signature. Then if I add in a type of amino acid, lipid, and protein, compound, and you take medicine with it, right? So then it repairs the cell faster. It has all the things it needs to repair everything well. But it's like, if I put a given type of carrier of a Cas9 that's in there ready to go, then it changes the DNA to ultimately express itself, not express it, change itself to becoming a stem cell. Now that I have 2 stem cells that are coming out under mitosis, then it'll do that for the next time it uses any type of mitosis, so it'll attack it, but then it'll repair it, but then it also has the change to the given DNA repair protein. The checker and repair protein stuff. I talked about that. I went over the proteins, I went over everything in those videos. Those are my first 3 videos. So it's like you could probably use several of those to just simply make that, but that's like, you need lipids that come in too, sure. But then, that's a calcium type of exchange. So like there's a calcium attached, it then rips a little bit of a hole, it makes it a little bit larger, more of this lipid comes in, it's a little bit different now. It happens to have this type of waste in RNA and DNA type that then has the repair protein and a Cas9 that changes it. So that way it ultimately congeals, which is, I guess, is a way to put it, but it's not really congealing. It's forming or birthing or embryonic or whatever the fuck version of it's brand new, forming as a cell. Basic bullshit after a while. It's a bunch of jargonal crap that means nothing. And what do you know? All of a sudden you have a cell inside of your cell. It's a third cell. It's not like we've seen that before. Man, those newts really love that algae just fucking doing the photosynthesis, helping those fucking cells inside of their cells continue making energy and doing cell stuff. It doesn't exist in nature already. Wait a second. Pikachu to Shockface? It does? What? You see the sarcastic thing? I'm sure you've already. It's a past the 10-minute mark. You most likely didn't continue listening to this, so you're already leaving. But like, yeah, no, you could do it. It's not actually that difficult. If you could fucking make stem cells like become a carrier to a toxic substance, I'm like, are you really asking me? You fucking weirdo. You're a PhD. You're multiple, like, trying to become PhD, all this other shit. You know who I am? Some random genius guy on fucking YouTube. That's all I am. It's not even hard to come up with this shit. But it's like, no, you're a genius or you Mensa certified. Yeah, oh yeah, no, IQ tests of those varieties are real good at fucking telling you if you're a genius. Wouldn't matter though, because if you manage to stay this long, you most likely at this point know that actually that could be done and that's pretty smart. Watch the rest of my YouTube. I'm quite rage baity, clickbaity, and the whole genius and paradigm shifties. Except, turns out, oh god, they actually are. Holy fuck. Eh. They're not 9 times out of 10. 99,999,999,999 times. Out of a fucking trillion. There aren't even a trillion people that have been born, you little fucktard. It means you're essentially saying in a fucking stupid roundabout way that every one of them is not. Last time I checked, you have textbooks where people did this. You teach about various things that people did that were paradigm shifting. Genius type things. You know what I mean? Comprende, capisce? Sounds like you're a stupido, eh? Fucking retard professor, probably with a PhD, some bullshit like that. Some dude that's been used to like having a bunch of people treat him like he shouldn't be treated. Hey, I'm gonna call out your crap. There you go. Stop acting like that. You don't deserve my respect if you're gonna act like that. You gotta earn it. You're not above me. That's how that works with me. You just came in, this is 14 minutes, you're still listening because you know I'm smart. Because what I said was smart, and it could be done. It sucks to be you. Probably don't like that. Sorry, don't care. Grow up a little, you little fucking retard, you little weasel bitch baby. Anyways, the Degrady part's over. I want to talk more about different fucking like cancer treatments because that usually gets rid of the vast majority of them by this point. So, anyways, there are other cancer treatments that I have that are mostly just the same thing when it comes down to like cells and isotropic and or, but that's mitosis. But during mitosis, like if you can get it, because you'd be surprised at how much senescent cells actually have a different cell membrane trigger, like their trigger of their cell membrane. But then like, that's a latent gene that we actually have that we can re-express in our own genes. But that's a whole other thing that's if it happens to work out that way, because we have several different what is it? There's certain fucking what was it? There's the whale one. There's a couple jellyfish. There's a couple zebra. There's a couple monkeys. You know, all the exact same kind of gene sequence that leads up to it is that, and then after that, has their immune system effectively attack those kinds of cells and perform certain functions very similarly. But then it's like I was looking at bats a while back, and it's like, oh, so they, because Dr. Ben Miles, he put out a video because you know me, always watching. I'm like, yes. So there's a way to reduce the expression of cell death. Well, that would come in a lot of fucking handy here, because like that's a chemical signature of cell death over a given, like area, and then everything else just sort of shuts down its cellular function. It's like, I wonder if we can switch that to like, hey, how about we just start helping each other out and repairing a bunch of shit together? Sharing resources and whatnot. Wouldn't that be a good thing? Turns out there are several things like that in our bodies that do exactly that. That just need the right fucking protein and enzymatic processes around, because that's a chemical signature. Like pheromonic, and then like the nitrogen and carbon sharing of the mycelium and fucking what was it? The plants and trees and sunflowers and shit. They signal through the given fluid that's in between them, the air. The blood, douche fucks. You probably thought that wasn't right. You probably thought I was wrong. You're an idiot. Get over yourself. Anyways, that's effectively all. It's enzymatic. I mean, there's like fucking, I don't know, over 100 some bullshit enzymes. Come on, really? Let me just, I shotgunned. I'll say a bunch of them, and then you'll be like, "Oh, that's so impressive and cool." Let me just go Google, type it. Oh, so it's one of these, probably. Oh, so your entire degree can be Googled now. No wonder why they're like, no, no, you must pay out the ass for this information. It's special. You've got to do all of this homework and stuff with other people around at this place that you can't afford to go to. And that's the only way you're valid and legitimate. Like, I thought sharing information was what the whole point was of the whole schooly thing, huh? So I guess it's just money for profit, but in a different way. It's not that, it's not for the corporation, man. I thought it was a corporation called the fucking college. What was that? But they pay us. You mean your employees of the corporation? Oh, they're undergrads? Professors without tenure? What now? Shut up. Oh, okay, I got one of them. Hey! I probably hit one of you, statistically speaking. How many times is that gonna happen, huh? Hmm. Anyways, I'm gonna move on to we were talking about cancer treatments, right? So it's like, well, there are actually a lot of changes based upon not just senescent, but like gene changes. Okay, so if you don't know, a lot of expressions during cancer formation, different excretatory waste, which instead of proteins and enzymes, this one turns into chemical signatures. We use chemical because, well, they're organic, but they're not like what they normally organically put out. And so, like, that's really what we often try and use for our immune systems to go after those types of cancers. But of course, depending on the different gene, and area that was changed that created the mutation that created that cancer, then allows for essentially only certain specificities for our immune system to go after. And broad spectrums are difficult. And it's like, no, it's not! I just told you 3 different fucking ways. You can check, you little fuck-ups. Oh my god, the cell changed its shape? The little flangey wanges sticking out of the cell membrane over here. The excretatory waste. There's an ionic change because the cell membrane and the excretatory waste has changed, which can be picked up based upon different proteins inside of them. The immune system, which, yeah, it's been long theorized, and actually we do have a lot of evidence that seems to suggest that that is actually definitely something they use to detect things. Really? So you're saying that you've had all the ways to cancel out all the cancers, and you just don't do it? How much money's involved in that fucking stupid treatment? You could literally just force a vaccine onto people that would allow for them to never get cancer, or at the very least, so diminished likelihood an amount of pretty much almost all of them, if not all of them, that you'd really be able to quickly get a hold of all the other ones and ruin the shit out of those fuckers. So what am I seeing here now? I'm going to go on to something else. Instead of ionic, let's remove the ionic, which is potential fields, by the way. But that's like, oh my god, we trained them to what? React to this field change? You mean antihistamines are a thing? You mean anticholinergics, more like. Anyways. Allergies. Yes, allergies happen to induce this type of effect pretty often. Not because of protein structure, not because of RNA and or DNA that is foreign, no, but because of a structure that happens to be ionic in a field type, which happens to often give you a "that's foreign, no" signal. Behold, there are so many. Oh my gosh. What? There's so many, huh? We can only have them attack this specific type? No, actually, that's not the truth. At all, actually. In any aspect. We've had the ability for a long period of time to broad spectrum approach many of these things. Behold, the vaccine that removes certain information of what to attack. You know how they do that? It's not very complicated, truthfully. It's a few proteins and DNA storage, essentially, of information. When they're growing up from their little stem cell embryonic stage, they'll grow into this little tiny stem cell, and then come out into the bloodstream among all the other adult cells, and differentiate into an immune cell. More or less, roughly. Then they get, oh my god, I'm in a place of learning. There's this shit called other shit that'll teach me. These are cells, I don't know, and all this. Anyways, point is, and they'll just educate me on what I should attack. Then they go all like, yes, but the curriculum has changed, man. That's right, it's changed. It's now this that we have to go after. These are the bad guys, okay? It's not like Bush era. We're not doing Clinton. Fuck goddamn Trump. It's seen on reality era now. We're going after the big bad guys. Cancer dick fucks. Anyways, I'm actually not done. I'm just selling a bit. This is a character. It's a whole thing. Anyways, because we have to actually be kind of somewhat serious here. You know what I mean? Point is, it'll learn a different thing, which is great, except not really. Okay, these little proteins and everything that I talk about, the way that they alter themselves is a formation of memory inside of the cell itself. So when it's created, it happens to create a type of bend in a structure around it. It's not just the proteins, not just the enzymes, not just all those things. The way and how they puzzle piece themselves together alters what their field type interactions are, which is ionic. To you go with positive or negative, or it's ionic or non-ionic, or alkaline and acidic, or any of the other number versions of the same fucking thing that effectively says charge differentials are different, and that one measures effectively the same kind of one, and I'm gonna go after it. Thus leading to confusion of that's not something you should go after. And autoimmune disorders are born. Or at least that's a few people's theses that I read. In no way, I've never read anyone's thesis. What, are you fucking kidding me? I'm not gonna fucking do that. Got you, though. Got you to think about that, yeah. Anyways, sounds very convincing. It's not totally the whole picture, truthfully, and like for what it's worth, it's a bit of an amalgamation of a lot of those things. What I'd tell you is they also use feeling, which means like they'll bump into things, they'll rub against stuff, and they'll try and pick out. And that's the isometric signature during mitosis or a senescent change, right? But that's also like some of these little molecules don't come out in the cell when it's a tumor or cancer. And so they get stuck in the cell membrane and they create bumps and they create changes in the protein structure of the cell membrane and the lipid structure, right? Which also means that they have different variations when they get really close to both the magnetic field and charge properties of the membrane. Which effectively means, behold, whatever your immune system is, attack this shit. This is shaped the right way. You can make a few of these cells, put them in, test them, they attack, and then now they'll remember that and give the information to others. Right? Standard vaccine stuff. Now, we're going to go off on broad spectrum. Now, we've had a long period of time, okay, in terms of how we could have done this. But we don't, because people think it's very expensive and very difficult. But it's not. Here's the best way to do it. At least that I'm aware of, that anybody's ever talked about. Because there's a lot of fucking ones. Trust me, there's a fucking lot of them. It turns into, yeah, we don't need to know any exacting specific. We just need to know what the trigger is for the cell to go attack. which effectively means we can change the vaccine to essentially go, it meets enough of a point that it will now attack. Right? It's like, well, there's enough ifs that have been checked, even though not all of the ifs have been checked. And so then it goes, we'll attack. And that's a certain percentage. So what you go with is you have this one, and this one that it's trained to attack. Right? Except it now needs instead this, that, and that, at least, to go attack. Now, that's pretty simple for what it's worth, because you just need to train it to attack certain things together. Then you just need to change, okay, that's the reverse vaccine, okay, information as to how much to attack. And behold, a cancer treatment that removes your idea of you can't do broad spectrum, removes your idea of you can't cancer treatment that's all together like that. Behold, a cure for cancer. That's right. It's a real one. Not a fakey fake, a real one. Pure cure, nothing else. Especially when you combine it with, here's a fucking cell that's inside of our cells. Take some meds, get a couple shots, then you have another cell, and all of your other cells that repairs those cells and the cells around them really well. And then here's another immune system during mitosis. You'll have more stem cells. Right? Behold, longevity. Taller length increased, extra protections for multiple different, because hey, remember that cell that repairs those cells? That's a DNA repair, that's a, examination of any of these waste, and then like changing DNA rate expressions, making sure everything goes and runs, operates very smoothly. Third cell within inside the cell. Which now means the cells function for a very long period of time, until of course they're damaged by some environmental factor. Which, of course, behold, the immune system, it repairs the cancer damage, which is essentially what that would really be. Right? Oh, senescent. Die. Go back into mitosis. It's going to go into the nucleus, and then it's trying to go after specific areas of the nucleus. That essentially turns it into, I force you into mitosis. Senescent, my ass, bitch. Go back into mitosising. Which, by the way, you're not going to be doing that anytime soon. Sorry, I tried to attack you. Okay, like, oh, that's my bad. Here's some stuff to help you heal and repair, I guess. That's my bad. I'm gonna leave. And then suddenly, I'm trying to finish my mitosis, you bitch! It took forever to get you! What the fuck? Because there's a secondary isotropic change at the end of mitosis. And so it'll attack that. And it's like, right. Except also, it's now stem cells. And it did do a bunch of repairing. And now it has a third cell that helps it with the repairing and the gathering of those nutrients and storage of those nutrients to keep up with the repairing. And it has a bunch of, what is this, waste and stuff that I don't want that's inflammatory? No, that's not inflammatory for me. I want that shit. That's the very opposite, you little bitch. Give me that fucking oxidizing compound. I need that shit. That's how I live. Behold, my cells have differentiated into multiple stem cells that are very, very, very good to go. Behold, longevity, biological immortality, the cancer treatment of all the land. Biological immortality of an extraordinarily large amount of proportion, because you remember that whole, like, the cellular network and how they exchange information and whatnot? Oh, cell death is now no longer a thing. It propagates everywhere, and scar tissues don't happen to form this way anymore. The human becomes a lot more difficult to kill. Oh no, whatever shall we do? They'll be able to work off their debts. you'll have to agree that your hoarding of large amounts of money is not worth it. I wonder if this would force their hand to finally change the government and corporations and institutions we call learning somehow. Jump through hoops. I'll finally vouch for you. Anyways, cancer treatment and biological immortality in under an hour so far. You probably did not get to this point because you don't like to get shouted and screamed at as being the imbecilic retard you are, who thought I couldn't possibly be as genius and paradigm shifting as I am, because I'm not rage baity enough. You get what I mean. Anyways, how do you go about it? It's more about picking the right things, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. That's really all it is, which essentially turns it into, here's a bunch of lists of these things that you've already found that effectively do this stuff. Piece them together properly. Here's some fucking money. Work on it. I just outlined the entire way of how you're going to do this. The step-by-step process is look at this, brute force the puzzle pieces, because you're creative, right? This will lead to this, that will lead to that will be this, that then means this can work with that. Do you understand how an engine might work? Programming, perhaps. What? That's programming. Programming is that. An engine works like this. Sucky air, spinny spin, compressy wessy, boom boom da boom, exhausty wast. Programming of the duration and length of the valvey valves is a part of the cranky wanks. Behold programming. It's an engine of an organic type. Not difficult to understand if you know anything about fields and charges and varieties and polarizations and some basic ass bitch biology. And how the puzzle pieces fit together. That's all you have to do. So that takes a little bit of time. What is that, like less than a year? And then you should fucking have it, right? Oh, wait, how many of you are working on this? Just the one undergrad that you paid deliberately low amounts and gave no possibility of at all of being able to get this accomplished like that? Oh, 40, 50 years or something? Because they have a life, you fucking douche. Anyways, behold, you have to get the organic chemistry, biology, and many other sciences together to work on this together. Oh no! Whatever shall we do? Have a functional cure for cancer and biological immortality? What? I think that's what we'll do, right? No, I'll never give you any money. Fuck you! Don't you want this? No, I want to die, and I definitely don't want all my authority and power taken away. Fuck you too, college. Seriously? Fuck this shit. Hey, what are you working with? Moderna? The Pfizer guys? Is Purdue again? You want to give everybody like a bunch of addictive ass substances and call it like, no, I didn't though. Is that something you're going to do over there? Oh, Pete Judah actually watches this. I doubt he will. But if he does, fuck yeah, there you go. Nice, for the whole thing. Because I've added Harvard several times, different versions of this on my Twitter. So, there's that. Anyways, suck my dick and balls. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification. Please share. Have a good one.